What if I told you the secret to financial freedom wasn't about earning more money, but about managing what you already have? My name is Dylan, and I want you to know all the reasons why having a detailed budget will change your life. We're going to break down the biggest budgeting misconceptions, then we're going to explain what a budget really is, and then finally explain what margin is, which is the key to transforming your financial future. Okay, so first of all, what I want to do is explain the misconceptions of a budget. So the first one is that budgets are restrictive. Creating a budget is not a restrictive practice. By setting goals and giving yourself permission to spend in key areas, you're actually enabling yourself to practice and anticipate the costs of life rather than simply being reactive to costs. While this sounds obvious, practices such as mental budgeting and self-control are linked positively and associated to long-term financial well-being. Individuals who mentally allocate funds for specific reasons and exercise self-control in spending tend to experience greater financial satisfaction, which contributes to overall life satisfaction as well. The other misconception I want to get out of the way is that I don't make enough money to budget. So budgeting is not just for people who make a lot of money. The fact is that the less money that you make, the more it's important to know where every single dollar that you earn is going. This is not to say if you're killing it financially that budgeting doesn't matter. The point is you are the prime candidate for creating a strong, detailed financial budget so you can stick to your long-term goals. Now, I get it. A budget seems boring and even overwhelming, but once you see exactly how much clarity and focus that having a detailed budget is, well, you're never going to want to go back to just not knowing what you're doing. So this brings us to our second section. What actually is a budget? So budgeting involves having a plan for 4 different key things: your income, your expenses, savings, and debt. So by allocating your financial resources effectively, you can both achieve your short and long-term goals financially simultaneously. A budget is a plan for how you'll spend on your needs and wants and save your money each month. It's not about perfection, it's about intention. So the truth is that a budget is about handling the flow of your financial resources. I like to think of this as like mini ballots that you get. And every month you're handed X amount of ballots, and you're able to, with those ballots, vote on what you want your future to look like. And here's the key, is that the good votes as well as the bad votes all count to the end result. So what do I exactly mean about bad votes? I'm not just talking about spending money on Starbucks when you shouldn't. Let's say you have a plan to get out of debt, for example, and you earn about $50,000 a year. So this comes out to pre-tax about $41.66 per month. You're going to want to consider meticulously tracking your budget on what you're spending on your needs, which are your essentials: rent or your mortgage, utilities, groceries, and transportation. As you can see, by aggregating these sections, we call this our essentials. And you can see what this is as a percentage compared to that overall pre-tax number for your monthly income. So this is one of the tips that I've used to create more margin in my budget. By gamifying the essential needs category, so for example, the rent, we can see what the percentage of that is relative to my overall income. And by really obsessing about that percentage and comparing it against my income, you can see what you're spending and you can squeeze margin out of your budget. So this is how it ties in with spending bad money. A lot of times we follow where our pennies are going and we don't focus on where the dollars are going. So if you see that this percentage that you're saving relative to your income is not as strong as it could be, it may be an indication that, oh, I'm spending too much on my rent. Maybe I should look to downsize. And it can really help bring clarity to what you're spending your money on. To gamify this, I actually came up with 3 categories for this percentage. Above 55%, this is not one of the categories, but I consider this spending an excessive amount on your needs. If you're spending above 55% of your pre-tax income on your needs, then it's going to be tougher and you're going to be struggling to find margin in your budget. Between 45% and 55%, I consider this average. The goal really should be initially 50%. If you're over this, it might be an indication, okay, what can I do to create more margin? But between 45 and 55% of that income is going to be really a good initial target. Between 35 and 45%, I would consider that strong. That's a good margin. And I would say if you're doing this, you're doing extremely well. Now, if you spend less than 35% of your pre-tax income on essentials, then I would consider this very good. This is very strong. You're an expert. Maybe you can help others learn how to, bring their percentage that they're spending on this category down. But you have a strong platform to start building up to your financial goals. So I can't stress enough how important budgeting is. Simply by being conscious and being aware of where your money is going is putting you dramatically ahead of everyone else. Most people never even look into their money spending habits. And even less people, successfully create a budget that they can stick to, that's detailed and that actually, accurately tracks where their money is bleeding into. So by doing these two things, you have a massive advantage. What you can do to start a budget today, which is very important, is hop on your phone and search 3 to 5 of the top budgeting apps. Check out, look into the reviews, do your research and homework about what budgeting app you think will work best for you. And if it doesn't work initially, there's dozens of other apps you can try out. I hop on Excel and I actually have just a spreadsheet that I track my spending on. And remember, this is a rolling thing. So each month you're going to want to know, okay, I spent this much on this category, this much on this category, and take that and look at the percentage you're spending month to month on the different sections, and it's going to bring clarity very quickly about, wow, I didn't realize I was spending this much money on my vehicle, for example. This car expense popped up and, it just kind of happened to me. I was reactive, like we were talking about. But now you're being proactive, you're tracking this, and then you can see, wow, I just spent over 10% of my income this month on a car. That's why the budget feels tight. You can even take this and start planning, okay, well, if this happens again, I should start a sinking fund where I am proactively thinking about if a vehicle repair or maintenance comes up in the near future. And that way I'm being proactive against these kinds of things rather than reactive. Now you might be thinking, oh, this is a lot of work. Why should I do all this? Well, financial satisfaction is a major component of general life satisfaction. In fact, a study by the Association for Financial Counseling and Planning Education highlighted that there's a strong belief that one's ability to manage finances correlates with a higher life satisfaction. Whether it's buying a home, starting a business, planning for retirement, or any other set of financial goals you may have, budgeting helps you set and reach your financial objectives long term. And this brings us to our final section, which is margin. That's what this whole thing is about. Margin is the name of the game. Margin enables your consistent savings and investing. With this extra margin, you can direct this to all of the categories we've talked about, from saving, debt repayment, investing, and your financial goals. By consistently focusing on lowering your expenses and living on less than you make, you're building this margin, which you can pump into your funds and acts as kind of a safety net for your financial future. The other thing about margin is that it really brings you peace of mind. It's a good hedge against things like lifestyle inflation, for example. Now, you really need to implement a budget today, like as soon as you finish this video. But getting the ideas out of your head and applied will help you understand how the money in your budget is actually working much more effectively than just having an idea of what you want in your head. Regardless of how you envision your financial future, the first step that you need to be doing and implement today is a budget. People do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. So I hope this gets you started on what you need to be doing today to start budgeting. And please, if you do have a moment, leave some comments down below asking the questions that you have. Maybe I missed something, maybe I have not answered a question that you're looking for. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'm sure to see you on the next one. Bye, guys.